AITA for refusing to let my younger brother move into my house after he betrayed me? I never thought I'd be writing one of these, but my family keeps telling me I'm selfish, while my friends say I finally stood up for myself. I'm a 29-year-old software engineer. My younger brother, Jake, is 25. Growing up, I was always expected to be the responsible one. If Jake forgot his homework, I was blamed for not reminding him. If he broke something, my parents would say, "He's younger. You should understand." I spent years believing that keeping everyone happy was my responsibility. After college, I worked hard, saved every paycheck, and finally bought a small 3-bedroom house. It wasn't a mansion, but it was mine. I was proud of it because every wall, every piece of furniture, every bill had been paid with my own money. Jake, on the other hand, jumped from job to job. Every few months, he had a new excuse. My boss was toxic. My coworkers hated me. The job wasn't for me. At first, I believed him. Then I noticed a pattern. He simply didn't like responsibility. A few months ago, Jake lost another job. My parents immediately called me. "Can he stay with you for a few weeks?" I looked at my wife. She smiled and said, "If it's temporary, we can help." So I agreed. The first week wasn't too bad. The second week, things started changing. Jake never cleaned up after himself. Dirty dishes filled the sink. He left food everywhere. He borrowed my clothes without asking. Every evening he'd promise, "I'll start job hunting tomorrow." Tomorrow never came. Instead, he'd stay up all night playing video games and sleep until noon. My wife tried to stay patient. One afternoon, she politely asked him if he could at least wash his own dishes. He laughed. "Relax. It's just a plate." She didn't argue. But I could tell she was getting frustrated. One evening I came home from work and found my wife sitting quietly in the living room. She looked upset. When I asked what happened, she hesitated. Finally, she said, "Jake invited 5 friends over while you were at work." I couldn't believe it. Without asking us, he had treated our home like it belonged to him. There were empty pizza boxes everywhere. Someone had spilled soda on our new rug. The TV was still on. I walked into the guest room. Jake was laughing with his friends as if nothing had happened. I asked everyone to leave. The room became silent. After they left, I told Jake this couldn't happen again. Instead of apologizing, he rolled his eyes. "Dude, why are you acting like Dad?" That sentence hit harder than I expected. I wasn't acting like Dad. I was acting like the person paying the mortgage. A week later, something happened that completely changed everything. I received a notification from my bank. Someone had tried to use my credit card online. Luckily, the payment failed because my bank flagged it as suspicious. When I checked the order, I almost dropped my phone. It was a gaming laptop worth nearly $2,000. The shipping address? My house. I immediately confronted Jake. At first, he denied everything. Then, when I showed him the bank notification, his face changed. He admitted he had taken a picture of my credit card while I was sleeping on the couch a few nights earlier. His exact words were, "I was going to pay you back." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Pay me back? He hadn't even asked for permission. He had simply decided my money was his money. That night I packed his bags. I told him he had 1 hour to leave. He called our parents. Within 30 minutes, both of them were standing in my driveway. Instead of asking Jake why he stole from me, they started yelling at me. "He's family. Everyone makes mistakes. You can't throw your own brother out." I stayed calm. Then I asked one simple question. If he had stolen from you instead of me, would you still say it's just a mistake? Neither of them answered. Instead, my mom started crying. Dad told me I'd regret breaking the family apart. Jake kept saying I was overreacting because he never actually bought anything. But that wasn't the point. He had betrayed my trust. The next morning, I changed every password, replaced every lock, and canceled all my saved payment methods. Since then, my parents barely speak to me. Some relatives have called me selfish. Others say I embarrass my own brother. But for the first time in years, my home feels peaceful again. My wife smiled the other day and said, "It finally feels like our house again." Hearing that made me realize something. Helping family should never mean sacrificing your peace, your trust, or your marriage. So, AITA for refusing to let my younger brother stay in my house after he betrayed my trust, even if it caused a huge family conflict?